Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and when going on a journey, it can be very scary. Thankfully, the professor gives us a starter Pokemon to choose from, and with that starter, we embark on an unforgettable adventure. But even with the starter, sometimes the road can be very scary as there's plenty of trainers, gym leaders, and even a villainous team that we have to take down. Even though the Pokemon professor gives you a starter Pokemon to be your partner, they'll always give you plenty of other Pokeballs, and they'll tell you to go catch everything you can see in the wild. Well, I think the best thing for us to do is always build a team early. I remember that when I first caught Talo in the Hoenn region. My father said it best. Make sure you build a strong team, and whatever you build will always be there to protect you. Talo was proof of that, and I'm glad that it was. But looking back at all of the journeys I've had in the core series, I have to say, out of all regions in the world of Pokemon, the Unova region is my all-time favorite region. And unfortunately, it always makes me sad about that region because that was the last region in the 2D era of Pokemon. While Oshawott may have been my starter and was one of the greatest Pokemon I ever raised in the Unova region, there's another Pokemon line that really still has my heart, as they were the first Pokemon I ever caught there, and I'm glad they were, as I raised them to be the best they could be. And they are, of course, Lillipup, Herdier, and of course, the big dog itself, Stoutland. I gotta say, I'm really happy that in Unova, I became a dog person. Throughout all the years of Pokemon, they've introduced a lot of Pokemon that are based off dogs, and I like to call dog Pokemon. For me, the first time I ever caught a dog Pokemon was when I played Black and White as well as Black 2 and White 2. In the beginning, I never really thought much of dog Pokemon, but after raising Lillipup into a Herdier and Herdier into a Stoutland, I really learned how much dog Pokemon can really mean to you. That being said, I never go any of my games without catching this line or any dog Pokemon line. You know what also makes Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland such good dogs? Look at them. They're just sitting here calmly, listening, and not causing any ruckus or even barking. This makes them wonderful Pokemon. And for those of you out there who are dog trainers or who really love dog Pokemon, might I suggest adding this to your team? You will not regret it. Well, I think we should learn what makes these Pokemon so unique and why they're such loyal dogs. But before we do that, I want to give a very special thanks to my friend and fellow subscriber, Puffy Sparkles. You requested this video? Well, here it is. I hope that you enjoy it to the fullest. This is a great line, and I'm glad you suggested it. But I also want to just dedicate this video to your wonderful dog, Duke. I'm really sorry, Puffy Sparkles. Duke was a good dog, and he really was what they call man's best friend. Even though he's gone, I'm sure that he'll never be forgotten by you, and wherever he is in the world, he's never going to forget your friendship. But you're not the only one that I'm going to be thanking today. Technova, I want to give you a very special thanks and shout out for my shirt. Today's shirt is called The Water Samurai Within. Since I'm talking about Unova Pokemon, and Lillipup was the first Pokemon I ever caught in the Unova region, along with my first starter Oshawott, I couldn't think of a better shirt to wear than this one. If you like these shirts that I wear in my videos, you can buy them on Etsy. I have a link to Technova's Etsy shop in the description below. Stop wearing silly stock image Pokemon shirts. Get a design like this that will really pop out. Not only will you be giving Technova good business, you'll also look like an incredible trainer. And if you think that I look good in these shirts, I think that you'll look even better. I may not be sponsored, but I still want to give Technova a big thanks for everything she's done for this channel. You know, since we have these dogs here, why don't we have a little bit of a dog show, and let's learn everything about our prized pooches. So, let's start off with the little puppy itself, Lillipup! Lillipup the puppy Pokemon is based on the dog breed, the Yorkshire Terrier, but specifically a Yorkshire Terrier puppy. For its habitat, Lillipup in the wild live in big open fields, as they like to run around and play, but they also live in urban areas. However, they're very well loved that you may find them living more in houses than you will in the wild. As I said, Lillipup are very well loved and are extremely popular with trainers, especially in the Alola region. It's also popular for beginners, because Lillipup is so intelligent, easy to raise, and it's so obedient it will never disobey its trainer's command. Being little puppies, Lillipup are full of energy and they love to play. They're often found digging holes, playing with sticks, and most of all, looking for friends. Since they're very easy to bond with, if you play fetch with a wild Lillipup, it'll be your friend forever. Lillipup shows affection to everyone they meet, as they rub against someone, give them licks, and of course, they yip very happily in order to make everyone around them happy. Also, Lillipup have great noses, so even if you only meet Lillipup for a few seconds, it'll never forget your scent. The long hair around Lillipup's face is very soft to the touch, and also, Lillipup loves being scratched there. While this pale hair might be Lillipup's most standout feature, it's not just for show. You see, the hair on Lillipup's face acts as an amazing radar. This lets Lillipup sense subtle changes in its surroundings and also alerts it what's in the area. Despite Lillipup's small size, it's a brave Pokemon. In fact, it takes a lot to scare this Pokemon. Even opponents bigger than a Lillipup will never make it cower in fear. Also for its small size, Lillipup are rather smart, as these Pokemon have great judgment, especially when going against stronger opponents. If it knows it's at a disadvantage in battle, these intelligent Pokemon will flee. Even before battle, Lillipup will never go in without a game plan. Lillipup is smart enough to check its foe's strengths and weaknesses, so that way it'll know what it's going against and even if it can win. Lillipup also have incredible memories, as they never forget anyone. Not just do they not forget the scent, but they also never forget a face. Also, if you catch one, you better train your Lillipup well, because Lillipup will never forget any of the love it receives, and if you treat it with a lot of love, Lillipup will give you the exact same love back. However, if you're a bad trainer and you abuse it, Lillipup will never forget any of the abuse it suffered, and it'll have no problem disobeying its trainer, especially attacking them too. Even though these Pokemon are very cute, they can be very fierce, and sometimes they can be very vicious. Lillipup are also very popular amongst children in the Unova Region, mainly for the fact that Lillipup are rather affectionate, but they also have a lot of shows that really entertain the children. So, if you're looking for something to do with your kids, take them to a lovely little Lillipup show. That's sure to not just leave the children entertained, but you as well. Lillipup made its anime debut in the Pokemon Black and White series episode, The Battle According to Lenora, where it was under the ownership of Normal-type gym leader Lenora. It was used in Ash's gym battle against his Tepig, which it also defeated with ease. In the core series games, Lillipup is the ace of Normal-type gym leader Sharon's team when you battle him for the basic badge at Asperidia City Gym in Black and White 2. In the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, specifically the game Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, Lillipup is a minor character and a resident in Post Town who's good friends with Swadloon. Lillipup is the odd one out between Patrat and Purloin, because unlike the two of them that have a 2-stage evolution, Lillipup has a 3-stage evolution. Also, Lillipup is currently the only normal-type Pokemon that you can get on the first route that has a 3-stage evolution and is not a flying type. People oftentimes say raising puppies is a joy and a pleasure. Well, Lillipup is no exception. This is a great dog Pokemon to have by your side. It makes a great partner. Not only is it very easy to raise, but it's also a Pokemon you will always love, and it always will stay by your side. But as puppies grow, even Lillipup does, and it becomes even more loyal. So I think it's time we evolve our little Lillipup into Herdier. Just looking at this Pokemon, I can tell that we're in the good hands, or I guess in this case, paws, of a very loyal dog. Herdier the loyal dog Pokemon is based on a Yorkshire Terrier, but also has some features and characteristics of Scottish Terriers and Australian Silky Terriers. Its habitat, wild Herdier live in big fields, as they enjoy running around and playing with others outside. Mostly these Pokemon really like to live the outside life. They also enjoy living in urban areas, as they like being around buildings and most of all people. Herdier really enjoy having company. Just like its name says, Herdier is a very loyal Pokemon to both trainers and its friends. They'll stay by your side forever, and they will never abandon you. And they will never disobey an order. They also can be caretakers, as Herdier takes care of both people and Pokemon, especially if someone isn't feeling well. But the job that it really likes the most is being a babysitter, because Herdier really loves being a caretaker and watching over children. Herdier loves children. In fact, children mean the world to Herdier, as it will go out of its way to play with children and give them a good time. In Herdier's book, it'll do anything for the kids. It's also a great watchdog, so if you have a child that wanders, it'll never go missing under Herdier's watch. Since Herdier have been around since prehistoric times, Some scientists believe that Herdier was the Pokemon that bridged the gap between human and Pokemon, creating the bonds that we have today. And there are also some scientists out there that theorize that none of the prehistoric Pokemon were any of the first partners we ever had. Instead, that belongs to Herdier. In the Unova region, as well as the Unova region, many Herdiers are found on the police force, as many police officers need good trackers as well as fast and loyal companions so they can uphold the law. Other than being a police Pokemon, Herdier are very popular to have as homestay Pokemon. They're the most popular in the Unova region because of all the stuff that they do around homes, apartments, cities, and towns. Also, Herdier are great listeners, and they can understand us very well. So if you have a problem or something really has you down, Herdier will be there to listen and will do anything it can to make you feel better. If you look carefully at Herdier from behind, you'll notice it has a black, dense, cape-like coat. Its black fur coat is one strong coat. It's very soft to the touch, but it's not for show. You see, it's very hard and springy. It also decreases any amount of damage that Herdier may receive in battle. The longer Herdier's black fur grows, the harder and more impervious that this coat gets. Even the sharpest claws and fangs can't easily penetrate this beautiful black coat. Also, despite having this very thick coat, it does not have the ability Thick Fat. While this beautiful black coat on Herdier's back is such a marvelous sight to look at, it unfortunately has a major drawback. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt Herdier, but instead, it may hurt your wallet, because it's a very high cost keeping up this fur properly groomed, because of how strong it is. Unless you're rich or a groomer, chances are this may be one of the most expensive Pokemon to raise and train. Herdier are thankfully very easy to train, but if you train it right, treat it like family, and give it all the love it needs, Herdier will obey your orders faithfully, and it will never once question you. In fact, if you are going into battle, Herdier would follow close behind you without a second thought. Also, Herdier are so loyal that if you go on walks with them, you don't even need a leash. It'll always be by your side and it will never leave you. Herdier also have a lot of patience, and they oftentimes follow people close into battle, but sadly there are some people out there that only use Herdier for gain and also are very abusive towards it. Because of this, Herdier refuses to listen to anything said by a person that doesn't respect it and does not give it love. Herdier made its anime debut in the Black and White series episode, Rematch at the Nakarine Gym, where it was under the ownership of gym leader Lenora. It battled against Ash's Tepig during the gym battle, but it was eventually defeated by Tepig's Flame Charge. In the core series games, Herdier is the frontrunner and the second in command on gym leader Lenora's team when you battle her at Nakarine City Gym. However, Herdier is also the second in command as well as frontrunner of your rival Bianca's team after her Lillipup evolves, but this is only for a few battles. In the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, specifically the game Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, Herdier is a minor character in the game and also a resident of Post Town. Puffy Sparkles, I hope that Duke was the exact same way Herdier is. This is a Pokemon that really is man's best friend, that'll stay by your side always and will never leave you. I'm sorry that Duke is gone, but I hope that if he was any Pokemon, he would be as good as a Herdier. Herdier is really a good buddy to have by your side. But, as dogs get older, sometimes their hearts do too, and they want to be with you always. So I think it's time that we evolve our lovely little Herdier into Stoutland. Even though Stoutland's mustache and it got bigger, I think that the best thing about Stoutland is its heart, because this Pokemon really loves to be there for everyone. Stoutland, the big-hearted Pokemon, is based on Yorkshire Terriers and Scottish Terriers, with some characteristics from the dog breeds, the Shih Tzu, and the Maltese. For its habitat, in the wild, Stoutland live in big open fields as well as the mountains. These Pokemon love to run around, and they're very adventurous, so they oftentimes love to go exploring. But they also really enjoy having company, especially being around humans. That being said, many wild Stoutland are found living in urban areas, like big cities and towns. And sometimes, some Stoutland like to make their homes in the park. Even though Stoutland's a very big dog, and it looks vicious and like an attack dog, that couldn't be further from the truth, as Stoutland are gentle giants, and as its species name says, Stoutland have big hearts towards both people and Pokemon. Stoutland are intelligent, good-natured, and valiant Pokemon. They make great partners, and they're always a pleasure to have by your side. They will always obey your commands and follow you into battle without a single question. In fact, Stoutland are so easy to bond with that just 3 days of knowing a wild Stoutland will instantly make you two best friends forever. Stoutland are so well behaved, and they're very loving Pokemon, especially around children, babies, and baby Pokemon. It's so good with babies and children that some parents even trust Stoutland to be a babysitter towards them. All in all, Stoutland will go out of its way for anyone. They're some of the most trusting partners you could ever have by your side. In fact, some people even claim that if the word trustworthy was a Pokemon, Stoutland would be it. The stand-up feature of Stoutland, as you can see, is its big, long mustache. To Stoutland, these mustaches are their pride and joy. They're immensely proud of them. And even though these Pokemon have big hearts and love to trust people, only the ones that have their full trust will be allowed to touch them. These mustaches start growing from the moment Stoutland evolves from a Herdier. The length of a Stoutland's mustache actually says a lot about it. The longer it is, the wiser and more experience a Stoutland has had. And it also does show how long this Pokemon has been around and its age. Oftentimes, Stoutland live in packs with other Stoutland, Herdier, and Lillipup. It's very easy to tell who the lead Stoutland is, because the one that's in charge has the longest mustache than anyone else in the pack. While most Stoutland live in homes with lots of people, some of them have jobs, and the jobs of a Stoutland are rescue Pokemon. You see, Stoutland rescue people and Pokemon stuck on the mountains and stranded at sea, as Stoutland is both an amazing climber and a great swimmer. Stoutland are most well known for saving people and Pokemon caught in blizzards, all thanks to their shaggy fur coats that shield them from the cold. You see, being wrapped in Stoutland's fur is so comfortable the person can sleep perfectly fine overnight in negative-degree weather. Also, Stoutland barely notice the cold because of these incredible coats. The bonds between Stoutland with both humans and Pokemon date as far back to the Ice Age, as seen from old cave paintings and even old artworks from cold regions long ago. Almost every household kept a Stoutland to keep them warm at night. And since Stoutland have that very big coat that keeps them just as warm as the people, I guess you could say the cold never bothered them in any way. Because of that beautiful fur coat that Stoutland has all across its body, we have this Pokemon to thank for giving us the coats that we wear in the winter. And I also have to say, Stoutland looks amazing in its coat. In fact, it's so amazing with the style it wears that a lot of fashion designers take lots of inspiration from Stoutland when they make coats for the winter. And some Stoutland even try them on to see if it will make them even warmer than what they already are. While Stoutland are native to the Unova region, you'll notice that they have their fur coats trimmed down by a lot, because Alola's humid climate is so hard for Stoutland to live in that these Pokemon are very uncomfortable by all this heat. Thankfully, you'll oftentimes find them living in Mount Lanakila, because these Pokemon really prefer to live in the cold where they can keep these wonderful winter coats. Despite Stoutland's wonderful fur coat and its big build, it does not have the ability Thick Fat. So yeah, Stoutland will always be buffed by the hail. Kind of funny that this Pokemon adapts very well to the winter environment, but it still takes damage from being hit with the hail. Stoutland made its anime debut in the Black and White series episode, Reunion Battles in Nimbasa, where it was under the ownership of Burgundy, Silent's rival. It was used in a battle against Ash, where it faced off against his Palpitoad. It was unfortunately defeated by Ash's Palpitoad in the first round of the club battle. In the core series games, Stoutland is the frontrunner of your rival Bianca's team in Black and White. It's also the frontrunner of her Black and White 2 team. Stoutland is also the frontrunner of gym leader Lenora's team when you battle her at the Pokemon World Tournament in Black and White 2. But Stoutland also serves as the ace of Charon's team when you team up with him to take on Neo Team Plasma on the Plasma Frigate. In the Alola region and the Alola games, Stoutland is a ride Pokemon. You can ride this Pokemon anywhere you want throughout the Alola region, as long as it's on land. Also, you get yourself your own Stoutland ride Pokemon after you speak to Mallow at Paniola Ranch. For its ride Pokemon feature, Stoutland acts as the dowsing machine. Because of Stoutland's incredible nose, it's able to find hidden items. Also, this is known as Stoutland Search. While we may have never seen Stoutland as a search and rescue Pokemon, especially on the snowy mountains, I'm just glad it finally got some recognition it deserves, and I think it's a great Pokemon to have as a ride Pokemon, not to mention, it's definitely a very fast one. For the weaknesses of Stoutland, Herdier, and Lillipup, being that these Pokemon are all pure normal type, the only thing that they're weak to are the moves that are fighting type. And unfortunately, being normal type means that none of these Pokemon have any strengths. However, they do have immunities. For the immunities of Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland, they're all immune to moves that are Ghost type. However, Ghost type Pokemon are also completely immune to all of their normal type. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of an even split. But at the same time, these Pokemon learn a lot of Fang moves that can really do a lot of damage to Ghost type Pokemon. So even though they don't have any strengths, at least we do know that they have immunities, which does give them a little bit of an edge in a fight. For the abilities of Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland, they all have different ones as their abilities change through evolution. So with that being said, let's start off with Lillipup. If you catch and raise a wild Lillipup, it can have one of two abilities, being either Vital Spirit or Pickup. A Lillipup with the ability Vital Spirit has such a strong will and drive to battle and play that its spirit keeps it from falling asleep. While a Lillipup with the ability Pickup, on the other hand, is like a little scavenger, as Lillipup may pick up other items from a Pokemon during battle, or it may pick up items outside of battle, which also makes it great for treasure hunting. And for hidden abilities that were introduced in Generation 5, which is also the same generation that Lillipup debuted in, Lillipup's hidden ability is revealed to be Runaway, which allows Lillipup to make a clean getaway when it's in a battle in the wild. Well, now that we've seen Lillipup's abilities and hidden abilities, I think it's time we see the abilities of Herdier and Stoutland. If you catch or raise yourself a Herdier or Stoutland, they can have either one of two abilities, being either Intimidate or Sand Rush. A Herdier and a Stoutland with the ability Intimidate act as a free stat lower, because as soon as both of them enter the battle, they give off an intimidating presence to their opponent that makes them cower and lowers their attack stat right off the bat. While a Herdier and a Stoutland with the ability Sand Rush have their speed stat boosted while in a sandstorm. Also, because of this ability Sand Rush and with their very thick coats, neither Stoutland nor Herdier take any damage from the sandstorm. And for hidden abilities that were introduced in Generation 5, which is also the same generation Herdier and Stoutland debuted in, their hidden ability is Scrappy, which allows both these Pokemon to hit Ghost-type Pokemon with both fighting and normal-type moves. Seeing that they have this ability, I guess that makes Herdier and Stoutland Ghostbusters. Looking back all these years later, when I first played Pokemon Black in 2011, Lillipup was the first Pokemon I encountered on Route 1, and it was also the very first Pokemon I ever caught with my Oshawott. I'm very happy that Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland were my first Unova friends. They are an amazing line, and if you're a dog person and you're trying to decide what dog Pokemon is the best, I could not recommend any other Pokemon more than this line. They are truly wonderful and loyal dogs. Something that's bothered me the most about Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland since 2019 when we got Sword and Shield is just one little problem. How are these Pokemon not included in the normal Pokedex or even native to the normal Galar region? This is a region based off the UK, where Terriers are from. All three of these Pokemon are based off Terriers. I mean, thankfully they came in the DLC, but why? Terriers are an easy Pokemon to add in a region based off the UK. They missed this opportunity again for the UK when they didn't include Snubbull nor Gramble. Those are English Bulldogs. It's just crazy that we had English dog breeds and they were not included in a region based off of England. Could you imagine if they made a region based off of Egypt and they didn't include Lucario or Cofagrigus? Going on a Pokemon journey can be very scary. While you do have a starter Pokemon to keep you company, you're going off into a world that you really don't know much of. But if you happen to find a Lillipup, a Herdier, or a Stoutland, I would recommend that you catch them. These Pokemon will always have your back. And as soon as you bond with them, they don't just become your friends, they become your family. But it still is good to have friends and family with you on this journey. And seeing that you're all family, no one will ever be left behind. Just as Lilo and Stitch once said, Ohana means family. But there's something else that you should know. These Pokemon have your back and you're always in good hands. Oops, I meant to say paws. But whatever the case is, as long as you have Stoutland, Lillipup, and Herdier by your side, you'll know you'll be safe with these loyal dogs. Puffy Sparkles, I truly see why you love this line so much, and I'm also really heartbroken for your loss of Duke. He was such a good boy, but just like how Duke is, these Pokemon are the exact same thing. Duke was a very loyal dog, and he was always there for you. That's the exact same thing Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland are. And even though he's gone, he'll never truly leave you, because as long as you always have the memories, he'll always be in your heart. Always remember this: good friends may be hard to find, but they're impossible to forget. And even though Duke's no longer with us, I know that somewhere he'll never forget you, because you were the greatest friend he ever had. Oh, hello trainers, welcome back. I hope that you had a wonderful time learning about our 3 wonderful loyal dogs. Well, I have a few questions for you. Out of all dog Pokemon we've currently had, what was the first dog Pokemon line you ever caught and raised, and which one is your favorite? Since we've already had 2 feline starters with both Litten and Sprigatito, do you think that in the future we should get a canine starter? Also, what type should it be? Who was the first Pokemon you ever caught, as well as first Pokemon you ever caught if you played in the Unova region? When it comes to the Pokemon eras, did you grow up and do you miss the 2D eras with the Game Boy and the Nintendo DS? Or did you never play that and you grew up with the 3D era with the 3DS and the Switch? Do you prefer them better, or do you think that the 2D era was better? Do you have a favorite dog breed? If so, what type is it? Also, has it been made into a Pokemon yet? And if it hasn't, what type should it be? And what should it evolve into and be called? And do you have a good companion pet by your side right now, or one that you've raised with a lot of love? And is it still with you, or sadly, like Puffy Sparkle's case with Duke, has it unfortunately passed away, but you still have good memories of it? Lillipup, Herdier, and Stoutland are such good Pokemon. I'm gonna go get them some treats. But let's end this. So, if you liked what you saw, then please leave a like. If you have any questions, you want to answer any of the questions I threw at you, you want me to talk about another Pokemon line, you want me to talk about something else Pokemon related like the DLC or an upcoming game, or you have an idea that you want turned into a video, then please comment. And as always, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, smash that subscribe button. Puffy Sparkles, I hope that you enjoyed this video to the fullest, and I hope that Duke would have liked it too. Thanks for watching, trainers. Palm out.